even if the back gets through here clean and makes a big run, the corner and the free safety should be in position to hold this play.
Alex, look, we're not playing very well today. I can't have you out there. You know, you're gonna get killed. So we're just gonna take you out and just lean over. So he's like, Slater, get in there.
Set, hike.
Welcome to Coach. I'm Patricia, and this is Coach Bill Belichick. Coach, week 8 for us, back in the studio. This is going to be great. We're going to talk about the return of the run game.
Nothing more fundamental in football than the running game. Blocking, good hard running, explosive plays, controlling the game on the line of scrimmage. It's great to see the running game come back, and the quarterback runs as well. Yeah, we got some great backs, some great blocking schemes that are coming up here. The quarterback runs and returns, punt returns, open field running. We got it all.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to talk about the runs, but then we're going to dive into some situational football. Still going to talk about the draft, University of Miami, and then we'll wrap it up with a little bit of a preview. Big game coming up, Washington versus Chicago. Should be a great game, but it's all about the resurgence of the run game.
They're going to go inside handoff. No, Daniels has a block on the end. Picking up some speed.
He turns the corner. He's on his way. Saquon Barkley.
Baby.
There he goes. Tap it down. Oh, baby.
Oh, what a run. Now dances for the ball. He's still in bounds. Look at his eyes. How did he do that? Uh-oh. There was a spin and a shake. Touchdown! Aaron Jones into the open field. 96 yards. How good is that? He'll step up into the pocket. Mahomes is into the end zone. Touchdown!
Those are some great plays. I think that you can feel the energy of the run game, you know, quarterback run game, the halfback run game. We're seeing a lot more yardage here this year in the NFL. The resurgence of the run game, it's real.
Yeah, some big games showing up here. 2024, here we go, 56 150-yard games, 37 175-yard games. Very similar to the 2022 numbers, but those are way, way above what we've seen here in these other years. So the running game's definitely back. I think it's here to stay. Quarterback runs have helped things out, but it's not all about the quarterbacks, and it's not all about the Ravens. There's a lot of teams running the ball well.
They really are, and I think it's, you know, if you're an offensive coordinator, you're seeing these numbers, you're trying to run the ball as much as you can to control the game. You know, we talk about that all the time, but there's a flip side to this. Offenses are running it really well, but defenses are struggling a little bit with their run fits.
Yeah, they really are. I think there have been a lot of examples in the first almost half of the season of poor tackling, poor run force, poor run fits by the linebackers, and just defensively just not being able to control and get off blocks well enough to get these runners before they get started. Because once they get into the line of scrimmage, they get going. These guys can really chew up some yards in a hurry.
Yeah, we're going to start with the halfback runs. We always talk about all the time, defending the C gap, the edge runs, and we've got some really good backs with, you know, great yardage this year, but it's a lot of those C gap runs that are hitting.
Yeah, they've made a lot of yards outside, and certainly Henry, Barkley with some long explosive runs. Mason, you know, has had some big games, and Dobbins, Gibbs, another kind of specialty back here. But, you know, these guys have been really productive. So different styles, but in the end, if you can get these guys started, the big key for these guys is they can all make yards on their own.
You know, we're going to start right away with the halfback runs, and, you know, Derrick Henry leading the league right now. This is kind of a specialty run play. This is an interesting play, a play that we call, you know, the blast play. You can set it up, Coach, with the tight end coming in, but this is a big run, kind of hit right off the bat against Buffalo. Buffalo's defense wasn't ready for it, but Henry, you know, he started the game fast.
Well, it's an interesting play, this outside trap play, which we call the blast. This is the center and the guard kind of, you know, going opposite directions here. They turn out, and Ricard comes in and blasts the 3 technique from the outside in. And so the idea is to get the tackle running up the field and to blast them. And then Henry hits this gap right here. Really, it's executed perfectly for the offense. Defensively, you know, the problems are, number one, the middle linebacker should be seeing the back, but he doesn't. He kind of gets influenced by the pulling guard. And then as Andrews comes in here to block the safety, the corner's unblocked, but he ends up not being able to make the tackle and gets kind of lost here along the line of scrimmage. And now it's all over. Henry goes, you know, 80 some yards, just outruns the rest of the team. So, Exciting play here.
It really is to start the game. It's a great divide the defense play for Baltimore, and a big back coming through, downhill runs. Like you mentioned, that linebacker, he's really got to see through that triangle, see through the guard, but see the halfback. He's going to tell you where the ball's going. It's a bad read by the linebacker and just opens up too much space on the defense.
Yeah, and in the secondary, you have 4 or 5 defensive backs. I don't care how big the hole is. Those defensive backs have to maintain their leverage, converge, and make the tackle and hold it to a 10-yard run. There's no reason for the run to go 80-some yards.
Yeah, that's a great way to start the game if you're Baltimore, not so good if you're Buffalo. Another run play here, a little bit more traditional run by San Francisco. They do a great job, Coach, of running the ball every single week, and certainly getting a lot of production here from the halfback. But a good toss action by the quarterback sometimes gets the defense running here, and we're going to have a cutback lane here to the left of the offense, to the right of the defense. That thing's going to go downhill.
Yeah, the 49ers love this play, whether they hand the ball off or toss it and get the running back going sideways here to try to get the defense to flow, and then cutting somebody off in the defense so that there's a cutback lane, somewhere along the line. They get these linebackers to flow, and the running back can cut back behind where the defense gets sealed.
Yeah, I think a good example here, Coach, you can see the space of the defense with the linebacker, like you mentioned, running over the top, but it's that divide you talked about on the backside. They get that thing cut off, and that's just a huge hole.
Yeah, they cut off the nose, cut off the backside linebacker, and, I mean, there's a lot of room there to run. And now, poor tackling, tacks on another, 30 yards to the run that shouldn't be there. Again, poor secondary fits and leverage on the ball, and then some poor tackling has led to a lot of excessive yardage here in the running game this year.
Yeah, we're getting these big backs down in the secondary. They're using the stiff arm. They're running hard. They're running tough, refusing to go down. And offensively, that's what you want to see. Those are great plays if you're blocking for them.
Yeah, you want to see those backs be able to make yards on their own. You block the play for whatever you can get for it, 5 yards, 8 yards, 10 yards. And then can he make that extra yardage on his own and turn a 10-yard run into a 30 or 40 or 80-yard run? Matt, this is a great look at the 49ers attacking the weak side of the formation. This motion comes over and gives the 49ers 4 receivers to the strong side of the formation and only 1 receiver, the tight end, Kittle, to the backside. So as a result, you can see the Cardinals adjusting and sliding over to match those receivers. And so it leaves them a little bit exposed here on the backside. This backside corner is the force guy, but he's too deep and can't get there quick enough. So they seal the edge, pull the guard around to seal the middle linebacker, and then do a great job getting the center out here. And this is a big guy against a little guy out there on the edge. We know who's got the advantage there.
Yeah, a great scheme against 5-down defensive fronts. Once you can get by the line of scrimmage, you're into some secondary force players. They do a great job with the pullers here. San Francisco just really scheming up excellent run plays versus the fronts they're seeing.
Yeah, and if they leave too many guys on the backside, then the quarterback flips it out to the receivers on the slot side, and that's a problem too. So it's really an unbalanced formation that if the defense doesn't unbalance properly, they're a guy short somewhere.
Yeah, great job of scheming it up. And again, another violent run here by the running back. Gets into space. He's got the stiff arm, explosive run play. We're just seeing these great explosive run plays out of the halfback, and that's really hard defensively. Now you get those run against you, you're scrambling on the sideline to fix them.
Yeah, you got to get those stopped. Otherwise, they'll run the ball all day and play action, and it'll be a long day.
Well, certainly the halfbacks are definitely a problem, but the quarterback run game this year, Coach, this is something that really has come on. And we got some good young players. We got some experienced players, quarterbacks that are running the ball well. You can't even start the conversation without going to Lamar Jackson first.
Lamar Jackson is just a dominant runner, and it doesn't matter whether it's a called design run or whether it's him on a scramble. He's extremely hard to tackle, and he's fast. Jayden Daniels has shown that he's very, very fast, and he gets called for a lot of runs by his offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury. Murray, we know how elusive and quick he is, and Fields for Pittsburgh has done a great job running the ball too. Bo Nix, another rookie, so got a couple rookies here in the top 5 rushing that have shown up, doing a good job of carrying the ball. And these are kind of like bonus yards in the running game. This 30, 40, 50 yards. You don't really count on your quarterback gaining those kind of yards in the running game, so you run for 125, and now you're at 175 when a quarterback gives you those 50 bonus yards. So these plays really help the running game.
It's where those numbers are going up that we talked about at the beginning of the show, where those 150-plus yard rushing efforts or the 175-plus rushing efforts, those numbers are really coming up. We'll take a look at a couple plays here.
Yeah, it certainly balances up the game more when you have the rushing yardage get closer to matching the passing yardage.
So again, the quarterback runs, Coach, we'll take a look at a couple of them here, and starting with Lamar, I think one of the biggest things we talk about is the red area. Quarterback runs in the red area. You got to account for him, and he's very dangerous here.
Yeah, quarterbacks love to run the ball in the red area, and offensive coordinators love to call them down there because it gives you that extra blocker when your quarterback's the runner. So here's Baltimore, and they've been in the red area a lot. The dive, tight end loops around here, and they get another lead blocker on the edge. So 2 for 2 out here on the edge. Quarterback, there's really nobody left to tackle the quarterback, and Lamar runs it in.
Yeah, really well schemed. I think the other thing that I love about quarterback runs is when you got a guy like Lamar, how dynamic he is. You watch the skill players block, and even in the end zone here, the wide receiver, he may be 3 yards in the end zone, but he's going to hang on this block as long as he can because he knows the quarterback's coming and he's going to jump through and score. So
yep.
It kind of just the whole team feeds off it when these guys can run the ball, and this guy's been special.
So if we look at this on the defensive side of it, the end man on the line of scrimmage really should be responsible for the quarterback. And the inside players here have to handle the back dive, and the outside guy can fall back in on it. Once the outside defender commits too far into the dive play, now Lamar's outside and he outruns the defensive end. Now it's all over. So defensively, this becomes very much of an assignment football. Yeah. It's somebody's got the dive, somebody's got the quarterback, somebody's got the receiver to the flat if there is one. And if you go back again to the start of the formation, because they're perfectly balanced, this play could go either way. So in this case, they end up going here, but they could just as easily run the dive over here and come back and keep it this way. So the defense has to be ready to defend that on both sides. I think this was probably checked because the front is overloaded to this side, and so they run this play back to the lighter side of the defense over here. They're really, if you draw a line down the middle of the formation here, there are really more guys on this side of the formation defensively than there are up on top. So we run it to the top side where we have better numbers, better angles, better leverage, and a better result on the play.
Yeah, really smart scheme. Check with me runs, looking for the tighter tackle or the 3 technique, going to it or away from it. Great play in the red area. Again, productive for Baltimore, scoring points. This is a Tuesday player. We're talking about Lamar. How are we going to play those, quarterback run games? Who's going to have him in that assignment? That's got to be a conversation on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right. And when they have multiple options on the play, dive, quarterback, receiver in the flat, you got to get that right on both sides of the formation because they can go either way.
Yeah. Well, another quarterback that's really doing a great job running the ball, Kyler Murray at Arizona. And it's going to be a similar type of play. He's going to get outside to the offensive right. Some of these quarterbacks they prefer to run one side over the other. This guy's fast, Coach. He just gets out quick, get into the secondary fast, and he's an explosive player.
Yeah, fast and really quick. Here we go. Again, the 2 tight ends up at the top here with a backside tight end. And so these tight ends that are lining up off the ball are not fullbacks, but they're similar to fullbacks in that they can cross and get to the other side of the formation. And so in zone coverage, the defense isn't going to send anybody over with them. So in essence, they get an extra blocker to the play side. So here's the dive, here's the quarterback, and here's the lead blocker out in front of them. And again, this is a lot of space. You just can't let these quarterbacks get out on the edge like this. There's too much space to defend.
Yeah, and another big guy, the tight end this time, coming around, blocking force. And look, that's all Kyler Murray needs. He just needs a little bit of space, and no one's going to catch him here. This guy's fast.
Really fast. Well, Matt, here we are back in the red area again.
Yeah, Jayden Daniels, Coach, a young quarterback. Guess what? He's going to go out to the right again. I know we talk a lot about got to have it plays out to the offensive right, the defensive left. But again, similar concept. He's going to get the ball. He's going to read the defense. He's going to get out. Or they just design him where they have lead blockers and say, hey, treat him like a running back. Let the guys get out in front of him and let him try to see if he can get into the end zone.
Yeah, when the quarterback carries the ball, you have one extra blocker. Instead of him handing it off to somebody, he runs it, and so that gives you that free guy who he would have handed it off to be part of the running blocking or part of an inside fake to take somebody with him. But here, a good example here of the quarterback getting to the edge. The wide receiver cracks the defensive end. The tackle pulls around, the back leads them. Here's the extra blocker right here, the running back, who normally would be carrying the ball. Now he's blocking out in space, and Daniels just uses his speed to get to the edge. There's, again, nobody really left here to get him.
Yeah, guy is dangerous. We got a bunch of big bodies out there on little bodies blocking force. And these quarterbacks in the red area, you can see they're all jumping for that right front pylon because they know all they got to do is jump across the end zone and it's points. Got to be ready for them in the red area.
Yeah, these defensive ends really have to be disciplined to take the quarterback if he's their guy and to make sure that they don't get cracked by a receiver or a flexed out tight end and the ball gets around to the perimeter. Once these guys get out on the edge, there's going to be a lot of yards to gain.
Yeah, those three quarterbacks, that Tuesday conversation, how are we going to handle them? They are dangerous in the run game. Certainly Baltimore has a dangerous runner in the backfield also with Lamar. That becomes a whole different conversation. How are we going to assignment football this? How are we going to handle all these guys? Coach, we're going to get up on the board here in a little bit. We're going to talk some halfback run, maybe demo a little bit of quarterback read option, how we would handle that. But there's a lot of teaching involved. This is the run game. It's coming back. The teams are, using this to score a lot of points, but they're using the young talent that they have, the quarterback talent in the league, more than just throwing the ball now. You got to be ready for them to run it.
A team that cannot keep its opponent from running to the outside is a team that has lost the control on which the defense against the running game is founded. So you must demolish every end run. As we know, the end run is basically a power-off tackle. And when the ball carrier turns the corner clean, even though the middle linebacker and offside defensive halfback and safety are moving, the angle of pursuit is so great that they cannot hold this play down. Therefore, you must turn the end run back to your pursuit man and early.
Coach, we're on the whiteboard. We're going to talk about that blast play that we saw earlier that the Ravens ran. A little bit of history with this play. This is a play that, got both of us one year. And George Gotze, who's with the Ravens right now, was at Miami. Miami hit you guys. They hit me when I was at Detroit. But this is a great play. Just talk us through the schematics of this play, what it looks like, and, why it can really be devastating to the defense.
Well, this is really a trap play, and it's trapping from the outside in. So this would be a tight end here. That would trap this. So this is a good play against a defensive tackle that likes to penetrate and charge hard, let him get up the field, come in here and trap him maybe sometimes a little more on the offensive side of the line of scrimmage. And so the defense gets split between here and here. This is a key block on the force player. And one of the key parts of this play is the linebacker. A lot of times these linebackers, when the guard pulls, all right, will be influenced by that, by really, if he's key in the back, then he'll be able to flow over the top and beat the center's block. But if he doesn't, if he takes a bad read on that and is is watching the lineman, then, he could be in a lot of trouble here. So this is really the formation of the play. I would say in the secondary, even if the back gets through here clean and makes a big run, the corner and the free safety should be in position to hold this play to reasonable gain, 8, 9, 10 yards, not a 90-yard touchdown. So a good schematic play here and one that can be run out of 12 personnel here with 2 tight ends or could also be run out of 11 personnel.
Yeah, divide the defensive type of play. Quick hitter into the line of scrimmage fast. One bad read by the linebacker, and we saw this thing's out the gate. So really nice play, really well schemed up by the Ravens this past week, and obviously a big play.
Yeah, a lot of history to this one.
Yeah. Did you want the green?
No, I don't do green.
Okay.
Okay, Matt, time to demonstrate this read zone play.
Yeah, we got to talk about a lot of things here, Coach. What's the defensive end doing? What's he looking at? Coach it up.
What the quarterback's looking at. I'm the quarterback in the shotgun. You're the running back to my left. All right. So I catch the snap from center, and I go, and I'm reading the defensive end. If the defensive end goes up the field and can't tackle you, I give you the ball. If the defensive end closes and takes you, then I pull the ball and I outrun the defensive end to the sideline, or possibly throw it if there's a guy in the flat.
Right, part of the RPO package off of the read zone kind of combination play. Again, assignment football for the defense here.
Yes.
Who do they got? The dive, the quarterback, the third option pitch or pass. All parts of these plays. This is why they're so difficult to defend.
The guy who's got the quarterback has to take the quarterback, and then he can help on the running back later if you cut it back. But if he takes the running back and nobody has a quarterback, good night.
Yeah, so we got our heavy backfield set back here. That's you and I.
Yeah, really heavy.
What do we tell in the end? Where do his eyes go? What's his keys?
The defensive end is going to read the backside hip of the running back right here because he doesn't know whether the ball is in there or out. It's too hard to see. But once we get to here, if the quarterback has the ball, then he takes the back quarterback. If he sees clean hands, then he takes the running back.
Yeah, really important to see those hands come out of the backside hip of the running back. That's really been the key for us because, again, it's either ball is there or ball is not. That's the key to the play. We'll see how we do.
All right, let's try this in slow motion and see how it goes. Set, hike.
Oh, faked you out. Stiff arm. Watch out. Watch out.
All right, let's try it again. Set, hike.
Got you again. Edge is gone, Coach. I think you scored right there. You look like Kyler Murray off of the tape that we just saw right there. I think we're scoring. So
let's try it again. Set, hike.
Again, Coach, great demo there. I think, again, huge part of what's going on in football right now. The quarterbacks running the ball, the defensive ends having a lot of problems trying to read this stuff. I think you and I look pretty good doing this. I think it's good. We got
not bad.
Yeah, we got the heavy setter, the big backfield, husky backfield, as I was called when I was little. But we got the whiteboard, we got demos, we got a lot to cover here in the episode. This is a fun episode, and enjoying the resurgence of the run game.
Yeah, you know what else we got?
What's that?
Ball security.
Ball security. And, Coach, how about a T-shirt, maybe a Fear the Beard? I mean, can we get one of those up there, too? Or we got... All right, Coach, we're going to talk situational football, kind of a unique situation here, one we call Rolex. Has to do with time left on the clock and the value of that time. Rolex, a one-word situation for us to communicate to everybody what's going on.
Yeah, a very unusual situation, but it does come up from time to time. And really, this is a situation where the defense allows the offense to score. The idea is that the defense doesn't allow them to score, they're going to get beat on a short field goal at the end of the game. And rather than do that, they'll let the offense score so they'll have a chance to have some time and come back and score a touchdown after they've allowed the offense to score. So this would only be at the end of the game in situations like this. And defensively, the strategy is to let the ball carrier score or push them into the end zone and help them score so that you'll get the ball back and have a chance to answer that score. But good awareness to this situation is to go down and get the ball on the 1 yard line and not score and end the game with the clock running out or kicking the winning field goal with the clock running out rather than giving the opponent a chance to come back.
Yeah, a hard situation that can come up in really a couple different ways. Offensively, you have to know when you're going from like 2 minutes to almost 4 minutes, and that clock, you want to just kind of run it out and score last. Defensively, if there's a turnover, special teams, if there's a turnover where you got to go down before you score. It's really counterintuitive to what normally you would do, right? Get the ball and just try to score. It's what everybody wants to do. But in that situation, the smarter play is actually to go down. There's some nuances to that play of tricking the offense and not letting the bells and whistles go off that, hey, wait, they're letting me score before those guys get down.
Yeah, that's why we term it Rolex, is just to identify what the situation is. But there are a lot of different circumstances that could play into it. The Super Bowl situation here was a good example. The Giants are down by 2 with a minute to go in the game. It's 2nd and goal, and both teams have 1 timeout. So if the Giants run the ball, we take a timeout, run the ball, let the clock run down, kick the game-winning field goal to go up by 1 with almost no time left on the clock. It seemed like, there's really no chance for, in this case, the defense to win. By letting the offense score here, there's a minute to go. All right, we're going to be down by, 21. If they kept the 2-point conversion, call it 23. All right, we're going to be down by 6 points, but with a minute and 1 timeout left, all right, with a chance to come back and score a touchdown and win. Otherwise, you lose on the field goal at the end of the game. So that's the thinking of the play. Offensively, do you want to just take a knee on the 1 yard line and kick the field goal at the end of the game, or do you want to score and give the other team a chance to come back and drive the length of the field with a minute to go and a timeout? Really, the play on this probably is to kick the short field goal to win the game.
Yeah, and you can see from the other angle here, defensively, smart play here. Try to engage the blockers, make everyone feel like it is a good hard run. The running back's going to run a little hard. And by the time he realizes, wait, I got to try to go down.
It's too late.
It's too late. We're going to knock him in. And some of the other things that we learned from this play, instinctively, the offensive ball carrier, as he's figuring out, I should go down, we started to notice the ball came loose. It's another good opportunity for us to punch at the ball. It's desperation mode for us here. I certainly appreciate the painfulness of this play and, bringing it up. But we learned from these plays that, were those mistakes in those situations. And there was a lot of nuances to this play that we really carried over going forward. Okay, Coach, Rolex situation, a little bit unusual now. We're outside the red area here. We're kind of at midfield, but great awareness here by New York. The Giants, they're going to try to run the ball a little bit outside the 2-minute, but this is a Rolex situation.
Right, so Cleveland has no timeouts. So if the Giants can get the ball to the 2-minute warning here, then they kneel on it 3 times and the game's over. So getting a first down would do it, and in this case, Singletary just goes down and kneel on the ball 3 times. Clock goes down to 2-minute warning, kneel on the ball 3 times, and the game's over, as opposed to scoring here and giving Cleveland a chance to score, onside kick, and possibly score back-to-back.
Yeah, smart football, great recognition by the halfback here and getting down, as close to the goal line as possible.
Yeah, I know it's a heads-up play, and the 3 kneel downs at 2-minute warning, that seals it.
These plays come up in some of the biggest games, and we certainly saw ours in the Super Bowl, but Super Bowl a couple years ago, similar situation, still Rolex, end of the game, but it's tied.
Right, so tie score here, very similar to the situation with the Giants and the Patriots. The score is tied. Kansas City's in position to kick the game-winning field goal from the 10-yard line, minute and 48 to go. Eagles have 1 timeout left, so 3 runs here would take the clock down to not much time and then kick the winning field goal and not have to play much defense. The Eagles, all right, if they let Kansas City score here with call it a minute and 40 seconds to go, then a minute and 40 seconds to go, 1 timeout, better chance to answer the score back than to give up the field goal at the end of the game.
Yeah, smart play here by Kansas City. Gets in, gets vertical, stays in bounds, and then recognizes where he is on the field, goes down, and, Kansas City has a chance to kick the field goal.
So once again, the term Rolex tells the offense, we'd rather go down than score. Keep the clock running, go down, and not score. It tells the defense, we want them to score. Let's let them score, and if we have to push them into the end zone, push them into the end zone. We'll give up the points to have a chance to get the ball back to answer.
Yeah. And, it comes up a lot. It came up in a game here in the fourth quarter inside the 2-minute. No timeouts here for Detroit. And, heads-up play here of getting him in the end zone by the time the running back realizes it. And Detroit actually winds up getting the ball back, and they go down and actually win the game here on this series.
Right, so similar situation here for Atlanta. If they don't score and they run 3 plays here, kick the game-winning field goal from, call it somewhere around the 10-yard line, Detroit gives up the touchdown, so now they're down 21-16, but gets the ball back, and now has a chance with a minute and 12, or call it a minute and 5 to go, has a chance now to come back and win the game, which they eventually do by letting Atlanta score on this play.
Yeah, and again, downhill run here by Atlanta into the line of scrimmage. And you can see the defense does a great job of engaging blocks, making it feel real. That's the whole point here for defense. Make it feel real, come downhill, and then get out of the way at the last minute. Maybe a light shoulder tap there, but he lets go. The running back struggling, and then by the time you realize it, it's too late, crosses the goal line, and then coach up the defensive guys. Get your hands up. Jamie Collins, smart football player there. Influence the officials, make sure they call the touchdown because we know it's our only chance to get the ball back.
It comes up from time to time, and if teams are really heads up, this could be their chance to preserve the win, or your only chance to win at the end of the game is to let them score to get the ball back.
Yeah, it's that game-saving play that, could give you a chance. And it comes up. We started off the segment with that clip in the Super Bowl. One of the interesting things about that play was, as you remember, in the Super Bowl, everybody's on the sidelines. All the camera crews, all the, reporters. And right before you get inside the 5-minute mark, everything turns on. Everyone's ready for the end of the game. And we lost communication, to the defense. And it was a quick signal. We hit him with the quick signal. I gave it to him. There was no verbal communication. Everyone just knew that one word. They knew what they had to do. They executed it. Giants wind up, running it in, and we got the ball back offensively. But that's why situational football is so important. One word's got to tell everybody what to do, or one signal's got to tell everybody what to do when you can't communicate. And, like you said, that play could really, save the game.
Yeah. Well, you've got to be ready to not communicate verbally at the end of the Super Bowl. We've had the headsets go out and all that numerous times because of all the activity on the field. And so being able to signal, communicate, get the right substitutions in and so forth is very challenging in game situations like that.
Yep, situational football, Coach. I love talking about it. Guys love it. This is what makes smart football teams.
Well, Matt, we're here with Michael Lombardi again. Mike, good to see you.
Good to see you too, both.
Yeah, it's just been, the U has come back at Miami. Remember, we used to go down there a lot and look for players, and this year they're in the top 10 and got some good-looking pro prospects. You had a chance to see any of these guys?
Of course, you have to watch them all the time. I mean, they've finally got their talent base up at a high level. I mean, when you used to go down there, it took you 3 or 4 days to go through all the workouts. I went down there one time to work out Michael Irvin. I pretended I was Marty Schottenheimer on the telephone, and I said to Michael Irvin, I'm going to come work you out. And, of course, this is before iPhone and cell phone and FaceTime or Snapchat, whatever the hell it was. And he showed up bright and early, and he saw this fat little Italian guy, not Marty Schottenheimer, and he wouldn't work out. But then he saw me working out the other guys, and he dropped what he was doing. He came over and worked out. So it was really like it was a smorgasbord of talent. You work out the backup guys at Miami back in the day, and they would start on any other program, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great there's some great teams, great talent coming out of that school.
Well, a lot of number one picks. I mean, not number one. I'm talking about first pick in the draft, Russell Maryland, Testaverde, and I mean, my God, right down the line.
Yeah, and then so this year we're going to look at 3 of their players of their team that, what are they, ranked 6th in the country right now?
Undefeated.
We could see it. They're 6th overall. They're right behind Texas. Now, they've won some close games. I mean, it took a hell of an effort to beat Cal, right?
Yep.
And so they've been on the border of a little bit, but they've been able to pull through something that Coach Cristobal hadn't been able to do in prior years. But it looks like now with the influx of talent that he has, he's able to do it. And we're going to study 3 players, starting off with their quarterback, Cam Ward, who transferred from Washington State. Another Texas kid, went to Washington State, played really well there, thought about coming out for the draft, said no. Of course, NIL is going to deter a lot of kids from coming out for the draft. Who wouldn't want to hang out in college and have to go work professionally, right? You can take your NIL money, hang out, and play college football. Not a bad life, but Cam
unless
Ward,
you're going to go in the first round.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I think we're back to having senior drafts now. I really think the draft is going to be when guys don't have eligibility, but that's a whole other conversation. Cam Ward's 6'2", 223. He's a really good player. He makes their offense dynamic. But Sam Brown, their wide receiver, a transfer from the University of Houston by way of Georgia. He went to high school in Georgia. He's an outside receiver, great size, 6'2", 195. Guess what, Bill? He can run.
Yeah.
He can run, and he's fast. And then the sugar on top of their whole team is Damian Martinez, the running back, who is by Texas. He went out to Oregon State. He dominated the Pac-12 in rushing. He really made their offense go at Oregon State. It was a running game, and now he transferred here. So we want to take a look at
another big kid, right?
Another big kid, 6 feet, 232 pounds, hard to tackle. But let's start with Cam Ward here. And this is this year tape against Virginia Tech. We see him again naturally in the spread formation. But I think what this guy has, what we're seeing with Jayden Daniels and all the other players here is he's got the ability to move, and he's got the ability to throw with accuracy down the field and make that second play that we all looking for in pro football, right, Matt?
Yeah, leadership is the other thing with him. Smart football player, sees the coverage. I mean, this guy's interesting.
Throw the ball great on the third level. This is, to me, one of the things you have to look at for all quarterbacks, yards per attempt. And when you can make an explosive play here, where you put it right there, that's how you score points. It's tough to go 12 plays all the time against good defenses.
Yeah, and this is Arroyo, the tight end, he'll probably come out early too, but this is another talented player.
Yeah. One of the things we like about Cam Ward is his ability to take a bad play and turn into a good play, Matt. And I think you could see it here against South Florida. I mean, really, this guy's not going to make the tackle out in space. Now, it'll be harder in pro football, but that's a hell of a play.
Yeah, good clip, Mike. It's a great job of him running and gaining a big gain here out of nothing.
Right, and this tackler has an angle on him, and he's able to really outrun that angle.
He did a lot of the same thing at Washington State the last couple of years. That spread offense up there where you got a lot of chances to throw the ball and make plays like this out of space.
Look at his head here. He looks back into the inside of the defense and feels the rusher coming at him, and he's able to elude him. Really good, smart play.
Yeah,
he can feel the back eye.
Yeah.
That's what we call quarterback instincts. I mean, he just has a great feel for it. Now look, they've got other skilled players on the team. Cam Ward's not throwing to nobody, right? Bill mentioned the tight end, but this Sam Brown kid who plays on the outside. Here's a play that I love, Coach. This is really Archie Cooley, who was the head football coach at Mississippi Valley State when Jerry Rice came out.
Right.
He ran this similar formation, but he stacked
diamond
all
formation.
he stacked all four guys and never went. He was so far ahead of his time. But here we go. Sam Brown's there. We got him circled here, and watch, burst off the field. Look at the burst off the field, up the field, off the line of scrimmage. Catches the ball with his hands.
It's a good catch over the middle.
Good strong catch.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then able to run with it and gain more yards. I mean, this is what we're looking for. He's got great size. He's 6'2".
Well, you really see his hands there, right?
Yep. Strong wrist. Strong wrist. The ball just stops right there. As soon as he gets that ball, the ball stops right there in his hands because his wrists are so strong.
Looked like a fastball coming out of the quarterback too.
Really.
There. I mean, that's
don't
a
make
strong
it easy.
throw.
Don't make it easy. Here he is playing on the outside, and this is against South Florida here, which looks like they're playing some kind of cover 2, Coach. Safety takes a bad angle.
Yeah.
You're not what we're looking for, Matt.
Can't squat on this guy. You can't squat on him. He's going to run by you.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not catching him.
No. Really explosive. And then
We like these guys that are 6'2", 195, 200. It's a great target to throw to.
I think it's so important to match the quarterback, the receivers to your quarterback. When you have a quarterback who's maybe not 100% accurate all the time, the catch radius really comes down to, it's important, and Sam Brown's catch radius is outstanding. Now, really, the guy that makes the offense go is the back. You got a back who's 6 feet, 232, runs angry, like we're going to see Damian Martinez here. Really a good player.
Well, he's not afraid of contact, is he?
No, he's looking for it. Look here, this is a hell of a cut right here.
Yeah, he got vertical into the defense, and
you want to see him break this tackle, but he still fights for extra yards.
Doesn't go down.
I don't know if he's breaking a tackle or if that other guy's just holding on for dear life there.
Yeah.
But it's a nice run.
He did this in the Pac-12 last year, and he's doing it down there at Miami.
It's a nice cut.
Yeah. I don't think you can teach this. This is something you just can't teach. I mean, I don't think he could explain why he cut this way out to the left, but it's great instincts and great burst acceleration.
Yeah, I love the stiff arm too. I just think that's one of the tools that running backs they can really use to.
233 pounds. This guy can move a little bit
and finish the run. So you can see why they're sixth best team in the country. I mean, they're outstanding. They've got 3 really good players. And look, the quarterback makes it all go. I mean, getting Cam Ward to not go into the draft. I think one thing we know about Mario Cristobal, he's a great recruiter. Mm-hmm. But I think his ability to pick Ward and have him come back and not go in the draft has really been the difference of the season.
Has Cam got a shot at the Heisman?
I think he does. If they keep winning, I think he certainly does, because there really is no clear-cut Heisman Trophy winner as of right now. Maybe Travis Hunter if Colorado keeps playing well, because, you get a dual-threat Jim Thorpe-type player. It's rare to find those guys. But last week we saw Texas and Georgia. I don't think either quarterback distinguished himself as a Heisman Trophy candidate. So I think he certainly does. Well, Miami's not the only undefeated team in college football, right? Oregon's undefeated, but Army and Navy are both undefeated. That hasn't happened since 1926, Matt.
1926, Mike?
26, yes.
Mike, 1926. I think I got a pennant right here. I'm not really sure if anyone's confused on who we're rooting for here, but I think we got Navy. Big game this weekend, Coach.
Big game this week. Navy and Notre Dame, the longest intersectional rivalry in the country at MetLife Stadium. So it'd be a good one.
Yeah, and you're going to be at the game. And this is a unique year for both Army and Navy. They can actually score points. So this is kind of an uncommon territory they're in.
Right. I remember last year, the Army-Navy game, I think they had more punts than they did points.
Yeah.
It's unusual when you check a box score and you're seeing Navy 40 points, Army 35 points. It's there's some exciting football going on.
I think through 5 games, Navy scored more points this year than they did all last year.
Yeah, it's really remarkable.
Combined,
For a team that invented the split end, Earl Blake's the lonely end when he sat him out there,
Carpenter.
They are now actually an offensive juggernaut. You got to give Monken credit for really reinventing the Army offense, and Navy the same thing.
Yep, they scrapped the option offense and expanded it. So, yeah, it's been exciting to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know you are too.
You bet.
Go Navy.
Welcome back to the Huddle. I know both of you have discussed how important the run game is in terms of controlling the pace of the game, adding to your toughness of your team. And if you can't run the ball, you can't finish games. But if you can't cover kicks, Coach, and you can't cover punts, you really don't have any toughness, nor can you control the game. And I think one of your pet peeves for as long as I've known you is when punters punt the ball down the middle of the field like it's a 9-iron going to the green.
With no hang time.
Yes.
Get it up in the air. Yeah, this has kind of been going on all year, these long returns. Most of them have come when the punters just lay the ball down the middle. I mean, look, I'm not real good at math, but there's only 2 guys that can leave early. That's the gunners. So if you kick the ball 65 yards and the guys on the line of scrimmage can't leave until the ball's kicked, even if they're really fast, they can only get 35 yards downfield, 35 yards, 65 yards. That's a lot of space. It's too much to cover.
Yeah, and one of his other pet peeves, Matt, as you know, is who's blocking the personal protector. Because if somebody doesn't block his butt, then we've got real trouble. We're going to show some videos that really just irritate the hell out of you, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand, especially against good returners. I mean, you know, here you just lay the ball down the middle of the field to Turpin, and too much space, too fast. Good night.
Good night. They blocked the personal protector on that one, and it's over.
It's all
I mean,
over.
if it's two-hand touch, he doesn't even get it. Here, we see another replay. I mean, two-hand touch, it's not down in the schoolyard. He's got time to point out who the hell to block, Matt.
Yeah, there's a lot of I formation coverage right there going on by the coverage unit. That's never good.
Here's another one. This is Jacksonville and Indy.
Yeah, 65-yarder right down the middle to Duvernay.
Coach, you'd see this on tape, and I'm pretty sure you'd address this with the team, right? I mean, this is not where you want to be.
Yeah, there's just too much space to cover here. I mean, guys got to get off blocks. They got to catch a really fast guy. I mean, it's really hard. If you condense the field and you can cut off half the field with your coverage, then here you go. But like last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 96-yard punt return, right up the middle, too much space, 65-yard punt, lay it right down the middle. Who's going to catch this guy?
Nobody. But as Matt's point, you know, you would have been all over the special teams coordinator. We're not punting the ball down the middle of the field here in this game.
I wouldn't. Not to this guy. Yeah. Not to any good guy, honestly. Either get it up in the air and kick it 45 yards, take your 45 net, or get it outside the numbers and where you can condense the field. But personal protector's not blocked. He can't make the tackle. I mean, this could have gone 196 yards.
Yeah, the personal protector should be the leading tackler on the punt team.
Yeah, I mean, especially he gets a free release. He's going to go down and make the play. There's probably a couple things on that play, Coach, that fundamentally just would drive us crazy. Number one, 96-yard punt returns. Not a lot of punts being returned from the 4-yard line.
And it wasn't Gale Sayers we're punting it to either.
And then, not being able to cut off the field. Some rules that we would have where you're trying to get the long snapper just go down, straight down the middle of the field, cut off the field so everybody can play off of you and make sure you're not giving all that space.
Yeah, too many long punt returns, too many blocked punts, too many blocked field goals. There's a lot of hidden yardage in the kicking game this year that going through the second half of the season here, this needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah, and I know from experience, having Matt and I both know, we spent a lot of time on the kicking game in practice and how important it was to the overall element of the team. And now that they've changed the kickoff rules in terms of teams can just kick it through the end zone, you lose a little bit of element of your toughness to your team when you don't cover kicks.
Yeah, you do. And even you take a team like the Ravens, who are really good in special teams, they started off kickoffs to cover. Now they're just touchbacking them. And so I think as the season goes along, for maybe a variety of reasons, a lot of these teams are less inclined to cover than they were maybe at the beginning of the season or in prior years.
Like it's about controlling the game. And, this is a phase where we're seeing the returns, and we're going to have to control the game with special teams coverage units for sure. That was 96. Your dad's was what, 65?
Yeah, he was 30 yards short of that.
30 yards short. So 96 is pretty impressive, but 65, that's not too shabby.
But we also have to put, and you have to address this, you have to put good players on the punt coverage team. I mean, you just can't have guys that can't tackle in space, or even if they're unblocked, can't make a play. You have to put some really good, and I know from our experience in Cleveland, we felt like if you played kicking game and you were good, then the natural progression was you might be able to play regular offense or defense.
Jonathan Jones, great example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many great players, right,
Yeah.
that have started on
Ninkovich
special
was a
teams.
long snapper.
Ninkovich, he was a hiker in there too. But that's where, look, you can show some fundamental skills on the football field. It's going to be in those speed and space plays, and that's special teams. To your point, Mike, that transitions to offense and defense.
It's so important part of player development. It's so important. And most of these young kids that come out of college aren't playing in the kicking game because they're usually the best players on the team. But if a kid can play special teams, hell, I mean, how many years did Matthew Slater play? I mean, you get Matthew
10 Pro Bowls, yeah.
10 Pro Bowls. Probably going to go in the Hall of Fame as a special teamer, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, he definitely should. And it's one of the hardest things I think that the guys coming out of college really don't understand. That transition into the NFL, play special teams. You want to be on the team, play special teams.
Yeah. When you saw Matthew Slater at UCLA, what was your first reaction?
Fast, big for his size, tough. Straight line got a little bit out of control. He really learned how to break down, throttle, and tackle in space. He had a great teacher in Scott O'Brien, one of the best special teams coaches ever. But Matt really improved in his space tackling and awareness.
Yeah, and he made a difference in the game, right? I mean, and the other thing about him, too, was not only was he a great teammate, he was a great leader for our teams, too. I mean, the players looked up to him, and he embraced his role, and everybody embraced it. It, to me, really brought our team together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was really lucky. We had Larry Ozzo as a team captain, who's now a special teams coach for the Commanders, and then Matt Slater as special teams captain. I mean, you can't do any better than those two guys.
No,
Matt Slater's an unbelievable person. I mean, he's a great player. He's even a better human being.
Yeah, no
question. He's unbelievable. My favorite story of Matt Slater, though, his rookie year, is we were out in San Diego playing the Chargers, and Ellis Hobbs was our returner. And we weren't having a good day. We had a bad trip out to San Diego. Ellis is getting, killed back there. The game's out of control, and you just radioed into the special teams coordinator and said, hey, let's get Ellis out. He was a good returner for us. And I just remember our special teams coordinator kind of, put his hands on Ellis's shoulder and said, Ellis, look, we're not playing very well today. I can't have you out there. You're going to get killed. So we're just going to take you out. And just leaned over his shoulder. He's like, Slater, get in there. And it was like, it was like Slater was going to learn, but went out and he tried to return for us early. But
and 17 years later, he still was playing.
What a great player.
Yeah, we won't talk about that kickoff return against Pittsburgh.
All right, we all know how much Matthew Slater meant to our team, and he certainly was so instrumental in winning. I like to shift now and talk about really two players that were the first and second overall pick of the draft, Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels.
Jayden loads one up for McLaurin in the end zone. Touchdown!
DJ Moore to the end zone. Perfect throw. Perfect catch. Touchdown Bears!
Daniels has a block on the edge. Cuts back, picking up some speed. They're trying to pull him down from behind. They finally get him.
Now leaving the pocket, there's green grass. And here comes Caleb. 45 to midfield, red, white, and blue.
There's an example of both players really showing their skill set. Jayden Daniels, I think, one of the best deep ball throwers already in the National Football League. Caleb Williams showing his ability to move and make plays. He certainly has gotten better as the year went on. Matt, what do you see in both players?
Daniels versus Williams, that's going to be the pitch this week. Like we've talked many times, though, they're probably not going to line up against each other. So, to me, this game is really about the head coaches for both teams, Dan Quinn, Matt Eberflus, also defensive coordinators. They call the defense. Not every head coach that's a defensive head coach calls the games. These two actually do. They do a good job, with the game plans. And this will be the first time I think those rookie quarterbacks go up against some really experienced head coaches, coordinators that'll have a good game plan. I think both of those quarterbacks have improved this year, but this will be a challenge for them going against these two really good defensive coaches.
Yeah, it's a contrast in style for sure. As you pointed out, Michael, I think that Daniels' deep ball is really impressive, kind of like Russell Wilson. He can teardrop it in there and put it in the bucket. It's pretty impressive down the field, much better than Williams has been able to do. Daniels a very explosive runner. He's got some long runs. He's tough to tackle, more quarterback runs. He's been really impressive in that area, more so than Caleb, I would say. The thing that Williams has done is use the middle of the field better. He kind of spreads the ball out more. He doesn't get the ball down the field very much, but he uses the middle of the field very effectively, and that's been good. He's got good receivers, so certainly got a lot of options there. But it's definitely a contrast in style, and it'll be really fun to see how this plays out.
Yeah, it really will be. And I think to me, with 5 games on Caleb Williams and 6 games on Jayden Daniels, both coaches, head coaches, defensive coaches, is that enough material to figure out how they best want to play each guy?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you play Jayden Daniels, number one, don't get the ball thrown over your head. Number two, don't let him scramble. And number three, defend the outside the numbers very well with some cover two or good press corner or whatever, but take that away. With Williams, it's more about making sure that he doesn't extend plays and his timing and rhythm passes to multiple receivers and a good tight end. So he has more options, I would say, spreads the ball around quicker, more of a controlled passing game, try to get him in third down.
Yeah, 147 passes, 10 yards or less for Caleb Williams. Not as good throwing the ball down the field. He's 4 for 22 on deep throws over 20 yards. But, Jayden Daniels has really excelled in that. But we still don't know if he's going to play. So you as a defense coordinator, Marcus Mariota might play, Jayden Daniels might play. How does your approach change?
Go into the game and you're ready for Jayden Daniels. The thing about Marcus Mariota is he's going to run the same offense. You're not looking at two different style of quarterbacking. Marcus he's a great leader. He's a really smart quarterback. He can run. This guy can run with the ball. He's dangerous back there, but he can throw it. He can get the ball downfield. He's got a big arm. He can push it down just like they're doing with Jayden Daniels. So you have to have all those same coaching points. I think you get into the game, if it is Marcus Mariota, you make your adjustments based on what you see in the game, but you go into that game plan figuring, Jayden's going to play. They're basically going to play in the same offensive system, either one of them out on the field.
Yeah, both coaches obviously have done this before. Eberflus, I think, certainly is up for Coach of the Year. Same with Quinn, because both guys have really turned their teams around this year, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. They're both playing with a lot of energy and complementary football, too. It's not just the offense or just the defense, but they've been solid in all three phases of the game, and they've won some on defense. Washington won with field goals, beat the Giants, so
right.
It was all field goals. So they found different ways to win, and that's the mark of a good team.
Yeah, both of them take the approach, Matt, the ball. We got to turn the ball over, right?
Absolutely. It's going to be about the ball this game. Who's turning it over, who's not. And I think, Mike, we were kind of looking earlier, Williams has some interceptions. He's throwing the ball downfield. It's gotten picked off when it's gone 20 yards in the air. And also third down, too. He's turned the ball over there a little bit on third down.
Yeah, he's got 3 turnovers on third down. It'll be a fun game to watch. And Caleb Williams comes back home to Washington, D.C. Jayden Daniels is battling through rib injury. Let's hope he plays. But one thing for certain, we're going to be back here next week on the Coach Show, where we will be able to break down all the games and talk about the NFL. So make sure you join us next week. Make sure you please like and subscribe to the show.
We're going to test you.
You're the defensive end.
Stiff arm.
And you stay right there. And actually, this is going to be back up. Okay, all right. So look, see if you do the right thing. So we want to see what you see. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Follow the ball. Follow the ball. Oh,
there it is,
yeah,
right there.
Out.
And then you.
Why you
or. Oh, okay.
All right. I thought you were nervous. I thought you were nervous about the run read. I was like, I can't really run. Neither of us can run far or fast. You're good.